Welcome back again to the Sunday game. Now our next stop here on the programme is Tuam Stadium, which this afternoon staged the Connacht football final. Now not just any old Connacht football final, but one in which the All-Ireland champions were involved for the first time since the mid-60s. Up to 2 years ago, Mayo wouldn't have fancied their chances in Tuam. Well, all that changed in the summer of 1997, and so Galway knew they were up against it today.
Niall Finnegan has afforded the opportunity to re-establish himself on the first Galway 15. This then is how the Connacht and All-Ireland champions will line out. Martin McNamara is reportedly back to his brilliant best in training and is fronted by a full backline that sees Damien Mitchell replace the injured Gary Fahy. Midfield has a familiar look about it. In attack, the Donlan brothers are placed strategically in both the half and full forward lines, with Jah Fallon and Pádraig Joyce in the pivotal positions. In Mayo there was a lot of doubt all week, a lot of talk. Indeed, there was just a fitness test just a few moments ago and Noel Keneally failed to pass it. It means there's one change in the Mayo half back line. So let's just have a look at the Mayo team. It's the same 15, bar Noel Keneally, that demolished Roscommon in the semi-final. An intimidating defensive wall was established by these 6 defenders and goalkeeper. Alan Roach takes the place of Noel Keneally at left half back. At midfield is James Nallen and David Brady. In the past, the Mayo attack has been the Achilles heel, but Kenneth Mortimer continues to captain the team from the centre forward position, with David Nestor retaining his place in the corner, despite the return of Kieran MacDonald to the Mayo panel. The Connacht final is on. Kevin Walsh sending the first ball down towards Pádraig Joyce. Referee had already blown his whistle for jersey pulling by Kevin Cahill. Despite the fullback's protestations, the free is given against him. 14 seconds gone as Pádraig Joyce takes this free. 1 goal and 9 points so far in the Connacht Championship for Pádraig. That's now 1-10 and Galway are in front after just 25 seconds of play. Peter Burke's first kick out of the afternoon, aiming at midfield, superbly gathered by David Brady, giving it to Colin McMenamin. There's a Galway man on the deck after receiving an accidental knock. A race for possession with James Horan, shouldered off it fairly by John Divilling. Sending it down to Sean O'Dwyer. Down this wing, Derek Savage will be indeed not forgotten last year for scoring one of the finest goals in a Connacht Championship match. Going for the first point from play. The umpires consult, the Mayo backs protest, but there is no doubt amongst the umpires. Galway lead by 2 points.
Yes, Galway have changed around their whole forward line before the start. Jah Fallon has come to right half forward. A brilliant point on the run there by Derek Savage. Niall Finnegan in at full forward. And Michael Donlan has gone across to play on the same wing as his brother John. He's at left half forward. Pádraig Joyce now at centre half forward. So John Donlan and Derek Savage, the only 2 Galway forwards playing in the positions that they were selected in.
David Brady intercepting well. Good play by Mayo. A score would settle the challengers here in Tuam. James Horan willing to take on John Divilling. Onto the right boot. That's a great pick by Horan. There was an air of confidence in Mayo that James Horan was due a really good one. He didn't produce it against Roscommon, but that surely will be good for the confidence. James Nallen. David Brady available if he needs him, so too is Alan Roach. Direct ball up far as David Nestor. Well cut out indeed by Tomas Meehan from Caltra. Good ball to Jah Fallon, operating on the wing here, despite wearing number 11. Derek Savage getting away from Gordon Morley. Great play by Savage. Wants to use the inside man. Niall Finnegan. Here's John Donlan, shooting for a point and scoring. John Donlan, who has been besieged in the past with injury, was so hungry to get on this Galway team, having seen younger brother win in All-Ireland last year. That's a great start for the corner forward in this, his first Connacht senior football final. With the left boot, good score. Michael Donlan is deep inside his own half of the field, looking for possession. Interesting ball for the Mayo defence. Gordon Morley in trouble here. Derek Savage over the bar. Derek Savage, not for the first time, got so easily away from Gordon Morley, one of the heroes against Roscommon. As Morley possibly slipped here, let's just watch this again. As Savage got away, he had a goal chance really. Kenneth Mortimer looking around for available colleagues. James Horan is one option. With them is Damien Mitchell, still Horan. Back outside is David Brady. Pumping it into the corner, optimistically perhaps, but indeed David Brady knew what he was doing. Nestor turning, difficult angle, very good score. Full marks to David Nestor. And Mayo get a little bit closer. Hefty challenge from Michael Donlan. Uses Kevin Cahill. An easy ball for John Divilly. Mayo just beginning to lose a small bit of shape. Need to spray that ball out as much as possible and extend the All-Ireland champions. Maurice Sheridan taking on Tomas Mannion. Back to James Horan, this time with the right boot. And this time the result is the same. Ballinturber's James Horan gets his second point of the match. And Mayo are very much in contention. The sides level. Jack Fallon has it back. Accidental trip, I think the referee was right. Gives it back to Pádraig Joyce. Inside the Mayo 45. Good effort, great point. Well, John Maughan did say during the week that Pádraig Joyce was the player in the Galway line-out he feared most. And maybe that shows you why. That is a superb point on the run. Fallon tried to overdo it, and Mayo chasing, harassing Kenneth Mortimer. Again, the architect of this Mayo team in the centre forward position. That's not a bad ball at all. Comes to David Nestor. Oh, what a goal! Great goal from Mayo. A cracking shot that rocked the back of Martin McNamara's net. That was a defence-splitting move that certainly will light up every person from County Mayo. A wonderful move, a wonderful finish by David Nestor. James Horan, knocked away by Damien Mitchell. John Casey on the blind side. Back outside to Colin McMenamin. On the run, it's curling, as only Colin McMenamin can do it. He did it in Castlebar against Roscommon, and he's doing it again. So far, he scored a goal and 5 points in this Connacht Championship. He now has won 6. Alan Roach, Jeff Fallon slipping in his anxiety to get to the ball. A most enjoyable Connacht final so far. Jeff Fallon, not a good ball for Derek Savage, did well, despite the jersey pull. Referee allowed the advantage. Savage bringing Aidan Higgins all over the place. Sean O'Donnell. That's quite a dangerous kick. Peter Burker's backtracking. It's there for Galway. An unfortunate error by the Mayo custodian has given an immediate lifeline to the All-Ireland champions. Pádraig Joyce was in at the end of it. And now, from just moments ago, the picture has changed yet again. The greasy conditions surely fooled Peter Burke, and the touch was simple by Joyce. Ball given away to Pádraig Joyce, who might be operating around wing forward, but certainly in the moment, this long ball has caused problems for Mayo. Great run by John Fallon. Can he cut inside yet again and score? The answer is affirmative. Great counter-attack by Galway. So quick, so elusive. Jeff Fallon, first point of the Connacht final. The champions lead by 3 as the half-time whistle approaches. This was wonderful running again by Jeff Fallon. Thought about jinking again, but took his point instead, wisely. Kevin Walsh, pumping it down the middle, up towards John Donlan. His height and strength and ability paying dividends here. That's a great start by John Donlan. And and certainly a bright start for Galway. Donlan getting his second point of the game, giving him a tally of 11 points in the Connacht Championship. Galway lead by 4. David Heaney. Available is John Casey. Jeff Fallon challenging. Better when he's going forward like this. Good run by James Nallen. Needs the support of James Horn. That's much better. Mayo. Point number 8 on its way. Slowly but surely, they're keeping their concentration. They're breaking down that Galway lead. It's down to 2 points. Will Mayo need Kieran MacDonald? Or indeed, Pat Fallon? Liam McHale in the background. David Brady launching it long. Ball fools them all. Here's a chance for Mayo. David Nestor available is John Casey. Can he score? Beat last year's goalkeeper. He can't. The wrong side of the post for John Casey. That must be the best, is the best goal scoring opportunity apart from David Nestor's wonderful shot for Mayo to really get into this game. It was Nestor that set up Casey. He went for the low corner and he missed. There was a lot of talk in Mayo indeed that Pat Fallon and Kieran MacDonald should have been there or thereabouts. MacDonald knocks that down for James Horn, and that's another point. 1 point between the teams. 4 points for James Horn. Let's just watch this again as Kieran MacDonald knocked it down for Horn, went behind Damien Mitchell and Ray Sill, and Mayo are now in full voice. Here's Maurice Sheridan. Did very well. A point between the teams. Fergal Costello, James Horn. He's one man capable of Mayo scoring a point. It's coming. It's in 5 centimetres. Mayo and Galway are level in tube. It took a while. 26 minutes of the second half. Over 26 minutes. But at last, the green and red flags can wave in the breeze. James Horn has levelled the match. Pat Fallon, crossfield ball. This is something obviously that's been worked out in the training grounds of Mayo. This is Pat Fallon receiving it rather, and almost losing it. Back to Maurice Sheridan. Kieran MacDonald thought about the hand pass. Instead, uses his captain, goes for the return. Here comes the chance for Mayo to go in front. Cross the line as Kieran MacDonald has put Mayo just the narrowest of margins in front, and Tuam Stadium has come alive. Galway, Connacht and All-Ireland champions are trailing as we go into the final 7 minutes of this Connacht final. Again, they're pumping them in quite long now as Kieran MacDonald has it again, trying to flick it on quickly. Fortunate that Kenneth Mortimer gathered it. Available out in the wing is Pat Fallon, not noted for scoring. This time he floats it in, and Mayo are 2 points in front. Apologies, Pat Fallon, you can score in a crisis situation when the tension was extremely vivid. This was a point that Mayo will remember. Pat Fallon puts Mayo in front by 2 points. Galway have had control, but they have not reflected that on the scoreboard. And to a very large extent, this game, when it steps up a tempo, suits Mayo. Here's Kieran MacDonald. Surely won't try from there. Oh, that's a great ball. That is a great ball. It's creeping in, and it's kicked off the line. Oh, that was a wonderful ball by Kieran MacDonald. James Nallen was at the end of it. It just seemed to hop thither, and it was Tomas Meehan that got a boot to it to clear it out, and that would have ended Galway's reign as All-Ireland champions. Maurice Sheridan, 16 points up to this kick in the Connacht Championship. It would give Mayo breathing space. Hits it, dropping, and it's gone over the bar. Is it going to be a Mayo Cork All-Ireland football semi-final? John Maughan, is he about to lead his county to a historic victory. Well won by Gordon Morley. James Nallen. Available is Kieran MacDonald. Floats it in instead. Oh, oh, that's a touch of class. Croke Park, here we come. Mayo, well, no doubt, have bonfires blazing all over the county. This is a fine victory considering that David Nestor scored a great goal, only to concede moments later when Peter Burke was so unfortunate to let the ball slip. Galway responded, but now it's all over. Despite all that, John Mann has led Mayo back to the promised land of Croke Park to an All-Ireland semi-final against the new Munster champions Cork, as the full-time score registers a historic victory. Mayo 1 goal and 14 points, Galway 1 goal and 10. Kenneth Mortimer receives the Nestor Cup as Mayo celebrate a wonderful, wonderful victory. Mayo are Connacht champions, dethroning the reigning Connacht and All-Ireland champions Galway by 4 points.
In terms of spirit this year, do you think it was as good as last year?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose when you lose, you look in all directions. There was great spirit and there was tremendous spirit. I mean, we were in that game right up to the end. We mightn't have scored, much in the second half or whatever, but even we got a free there near the end. And if if we had maybe put that over the bar, there was still a goal chance in us. That's what you think. I think there's great spirit, and there was great spirit as we left the dressing room. Now we won together always, and we lost together today. But that's what it's about.
Your memory of that goal?
I had lost my man coming through. I could see the long ball coming in. James Horan and the full back were running away from it, trying to get it, and I actually had sort of a vision that the ball was going to pop into my hand. I could see it hitting off one of their shoulders or heads or something, and before I knew it, it was in my hand. I just put the head down and let rip.
We showed great character, if you like, when we conceded the goal in the first half by replying straight away, and we came back with a goal. But it's too early to analyse it. Probably we had a few chances early in the second half. I haven't had time to think about it really yet, but I suppose when we at the end of the day we only scored I think a point in the second half, so I suppose that's analysis enough, and I wouldn't be blaming the forwards in any way. It was a collective thing. We've always won together, and now we'll lose together, and I wouldn't blame anyone in particular. I think that's as somebody else said today, it's not about Galway now, it's about Mayo now from here on in.
I would like to just mention the Galway support has been phenomenal the last 2 years. I hope it's not 32 years for Galway win another All-Ireland. I think the county board needs to look at structures where you had no city-based player on the Galway senior football team today. Pure Stadium is coming back in vogue, but I think the GA now should be pumping money into underage coaching so that Connacht teams don't wait 30 years to win All-Irelands.
Well, a tough, hard, fought-out struggle. Galway had their chances, but Mayo showed the composure and the self-belief to overcome the champions. Martin Carney, obviously you enjoyed what you saw on Tuam today. We've had a lot of phone calls tonight complaining from people that they couldn't get into the venue this evening, even with tickets. But those who were there would have seen a performance full of conviction from Mayo today.
Well, they saw a great spectacle. It was a credit to Connacht football that such a game was served up in such conditions today. And from the beginning, it was a free-flowing game, punctuated with wonderful passages of football. Great scores, crisp tackling, and great sportsmanship throughout. And Mayo played with a belief, played with a hunger. They had a freshness to their approach that has been missing for the last year or so. And I suppose that was due mainly, I think, to the break they had last summer, ironically, and also to the fact that they changed their approach in training this year. They brought in Tom Lally to kind of coach the forwards. He insisted on more ball work being done, and you could see that there was much greater movement, much greater variety and scope to the way the forwards played today than there had been hitherto. And when you see Colin McMenamin scoring banana shots, when you see some of the scores that James Horan got throughout the game, it's a credit to the work that was done on the team.
Let's look through this game and go into the first half to begin with. Now, Galway started pretty well. I mean, they were the All-Ireland champions playing in Tuam, and they looked composed enough in the early stages, I suppose, of the match.
Yeah, they started off in great confidence, and Derek Savage in particular in the corner played exceptionally well. Now you can see here Michael Donlan driving a long ball into Derek, and again he leaves Gordon Morley for dead, and possibly he had a goal on here, but he took the sensible option and drove it over the bar, and that was a feature of the first half. Again you see Jag coming through, maybe shipping a tackle from Alan Roach, might have got a free, but has the vision again to give it back to Pádraig Joyce, and again, as in many instances in the first half, Joyce shoots a fine point from the left hand side. But Galway played fine football in the first half. They were in top at midfield, and were it not for the Mayo half back line, they would have been in big trouble in fact.
So what do you reckon was the turning point of this match then that turned it in Mayo's favour? Young
Nestor's goal, I think. 27 minutes gone, 7 points to 5, playing into the strong wind. David Nestor's goal made the difference to me because it put Mayo in the ascendancy, playing into the teeth of the wind. end. And you can see it coming up here. Jazz should have got that ball, I think, should have gone down on that ball, but it snapped up. There are 4 Mayo players there. Mortimer shows great vision, looks up, puts it in. The ball breaks off James Horan, and Davy gets the ball inside the large rectangle and rockets it to the net. And a moment later then, again, a long ball into James Horan once more, focal point for a lot of their attacks. John Casey, who had a quiet game today, picks up the breaking ball, gives it to Colin McMenamin, and he doesn't want Ross Carr to have a patent on that type of ball that is scored, but drives it over the bar with the outside of his right foot. Those 2 scores within a minute and a half, coming up to half-time, to my mind, changed the trend of the game, maybe somewhat in the favour of Mayo, even though Galway came down the field a moment later, I think, and got their goal.
At the same time, like at half-time, Galway led by 3 points. Now, I know they had to face the breeze in the second half and so forth, but nonetheless, they couldn't have been unhappy with their situation.
Well, 3 points was a small lead considering that wind, but their midfield, I thought, was outstanding today. Kevin Walsh, in particular, I thought, had a wonderful game throughout and sustained them throughout the second half. And John Divley sat back a little bit, picked up an awful lot of breaking ball, kept driving it forward. But the forward line was inept, which is a strange thing to say about a Galway forward line. As John O'Mahony said, 1 point, poor return. But here you can see Kevin Walsh, marvellous one-handed catch, and again clears the ball effectively. You can see it from behind there, the way he catches it down, a bit like Mick O'Connell of old. But again, as we talked about the attack, here's a situation where Pádraig Joyce has a good opportunity, but notice the covering of the Mayo defence there, and Kevin Cahill's tackle in particular was a textbook tackle there, the way he got the hand in. And later on in the game then, when James Horan, I think, scored that equalising point midway through the second half, from that point in, Mayo were in the driving seat.
Mayo will have another day, obviously, through to the All-Ireland semi-final. For Galway, that's the end of this particular run with the team that brought them the All-Ireland. The point that Ray Silk was making there about the future of Galway football, the fact that there are no city-based players on the team, is a valid point.
Valid point. I'm trying to think back, and we were talking about it off camera, Michael. Going back to the 3-in-a-row team, I can't think of any Galway player or city player apart from Liam Salmon on the actual team. Coming into recent times, I think Eric Elwood in 1989, yes, funnily enough, played with Merview. Robin Doyle, I think, is a member of either Merview or Renmore. But there aren't any Father Michaels, there aren't any Father Griffins players on it. The only team really in the Galway City area that has sustained Galway football over the last period of time has been Salt Hill. But there definitely is a problem promoting the game at underage level in the city.
So what about the future of this particular team then? And John O'Mahony, I suppose this is one for another day. They have to sit back and think about what happened today in June.
Well, they'll have to think long and hard about this, but they're a very, very young team. Like the guys that gave them quality, that gave them freshness last year, the people who led them last year, the Michael Donnells, the Jeff Fallons, the Sean Oak, the players, seem muted somewhat today. We saw none of Michael Donnell's dash and exuberance. We saw little of Jazz involvement or score taking that he exhibited again and again last year. And I can't remember one Sean Oak getting forward, which was a credit perhaps to Colin McMenamin's display on him.
OK, well, Martin's next task in relation to this Connacht final is to name his man of the match.
Well, our man of the match today is James Horan, who gave a great exhibition of point scoring, and he rediscovered his form of 1996. But special recognition also has to be given to the entire Mayo half-back line, who performed heroically to a man throughout.
Well, they certainly did, and congratulations to all of the Mayo players on their performance today. OK, that's our cue for another commercial break. Before we go to that, one final reminder about Pat Spillan's feedback slot on the game on Monday tomorrow evening. Your comments are welcome.